Biggie told me this young lady who won the spelling bee, Zaila Avant-Garde, was not only a spelling bee champion, but a great basketball player. And then after you told me that on Friday, I saw some of her highlights. Unbelievable.
She is just unreal as a person. The things that she's already accomplished at 14.
You see a 14-year-old doing that kind of thing, and you look at yourself at whatever age you are, and you think, well,
I mean, like on the basketball court, she's a very good player. She can, she really can dribble the ball. She has incredible ball handling skills. She can shoot.
Yeah.
And but then you see her records, like she's dribbling 6 basketballs, or a basketball, a volleyball, and a tennis ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she's on a unicycle dribbling 6 basketballs. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, in her interview, she said, I probably want to be in the WNBA, but if not, maybe I'd like to work for NASA. And I could see her doing that, too.
Right. And then it's like, let me, and by the way, let me go win the Scripps spelling bee in my spare time.
That's got to dig at some of the people who live for that. Some of those, don't you think?
I'm sure.
Because she, according to her story, she started learning to spell 2 years ago.
Yeah.
For most of these kids, it's all that they know.
I pointed her out to my son. I said, look, take a look at it. And he said, oh, he looked over. Oh, yeah. He got his phone back, so his head was buried in that.
Oh, the phone has returned.
They took it to the Apple store. If you missed this portion last week, my son had done something. He's 16 with his phone. He became a beta tester for a new iOS operating system because they only asked the sharpest minds.
Yeah, when you think of beta testers and new tech, you think of 16-year-old American males.
It's him.
Well, and what's funny was that that system popped on my phone over the weekend. I was like, oh, this is what screwed up his son's phone.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take this.
It really. So it just shut it down. Yeah. And he had changed his Apple password unbeknownst to his mother. And so when they tried to get back in, he couldn't remember.
He got the lockout.
Yeah, so they locked him out. Every time they tried, said, wait 1 hour, try again. So they had to take it to the Apple store. And they said it could be up to 2 weeks before it was done. And then my wife said that when they went to the Apple store, now they spent hours in there with the geniuses, and things were opening little by little.
Was it like an operating room theater? I envision them all in masks and gloves in a sterile environment.
Yes.
Clamp.
Well, me too.
Suture.
That's what I was telling. I stayed away from it.
Tostitos.
And they came back in after several hours. And
we did all we could do.
we can't retrieve anything.
All we can do now is pray.
My wife says apparently my son has so many memes on this phone, and a lot of them are like Stephen A. Smith and other African American gentlemen saying something funny, and videos, memes, and GIFs. And she said I was embarrassed at the silly, stupid little things he had on his phone that continue to reveal themselves over and over and over.
I have a tech question.
Yes.
Where does one keep the Stephen A. Smith memes?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
All mine are in my photo because I save memes. I have a bunch of memes, too.
Okay.
Well, so does he.
And, if I see something funny, I save it. Give me a chuckle later. Share it with friends.
Okay.
But mine are just my photos, but some people, I'm sure, have categories and organize them. He may have had it in folders.
He may have. He had one of a gentleman who was naked, but you saw like his chest, and then his from waist down was turned backwards, like an Exorcist thing, but going from the waist, like he was turned all the way backwards. So you see his buttocks and then his chest from there up, and then there was some funny little meme like "got out of bed on the wrong side this morning" or something,
Yeah.
And my wife said, what?
Got me feeling like.
Yeah. And my wife said, I'm embarrassed. Said to the geniuses, I'm embarrassed that you have to see something like this. And they didn't care. They didn't care one bit. But they didn't blink.
I'm sure they were relieved to see memes. Maybe even had a laugh out of it versus the things they normally see.
Oh, maybe.
Think about what they normally see.
Well, they didn't care. But
back to the naked man. Is he a contortionist, or is this just a trick photo?
No, trick photo.
It was a trick photo. I saw it later. My wife said, you're not going to believe what your son has on his. Show him. So I sit there and I look.
That's pretty good.
Monday like.
I do like Stephen A. Smith.
And there's just but this is a random guy.
Airdrop that to me.
Just standing there. Naked, and but it's buttocks forward and chest forward. It's
strange,
very. And I said to him, "Why?" he's fun. He's funny. You know, they just
Made me laugh.
Him and his friend, him and the Swag Bros, just send it back and forth to each other. You know, he did. The Swag Bros dared him to get his head shaved, and he did it. He has now. He's buzz. I mean, really, really buzz cut. I mean,
Really?
very, very short.
He loves his hair, though.
I know. I know.
My goodness, was there money involved? Food?
No, it was just a dare.
Just respect?
Just a dare. They just dared him to do it, and he said, "I'll do it." And we went to the salon on Friday, and he said, "I'm going to do this." And I said, "Well, I don't care. Do it if you want." And right as he was doing it, his friends were texting him saying, "You will not. You will not." And he goes, "I'm doing it." And he did it. And now they're giving him some pretty good ribbing about it, you know, because he looks pretty different. And
Yeah.
there's a character named Sid from Toy Story who is like the neighbor who bombs all the toys and everything. He looks a lot like Sid from Toy Story. They're comparing the two.
Okay.
And then of course there's a lot of like school shooter stuff and you know on there.
Yeah.
I said, that's really, you don't have to.
A little over the line.
A little bit over the
That's not
line.
what we need.
Yeah, these are teens that are doing that to him. And I said, well, you set yourself up for this. You shake it down.
Yeah.
But he wanted to go all the way, which he did.
I appreciate his commitment to it.
Oh, me too. He went all the way into it.
Yeah, and how was that being received around the household?
I'd
The
say
females.
I'd say lukewarm. I'd say
Yeah.
not well. When he walked in,
Oh, I just saw Sid from Toy Story. That kid.
that's what he looked like.
Oh my God.
That's exactly. That's really. I should take a picture. That's really what he looks like, and he looks pretty. It's pretty rough looking. And my wife, when she saw him coming, because I didn't tell her anything. It was just me and him went to get our haircuts. And when I walked in with him, she looked up. She was on the phone, and she said, "I'll call you back." And he explained it was a dare and everything. And then he went upstairs. And she said to me, "Did you sit there and watch this happen?" And I said, "I did. I sat and I watched it." And she said, "What kind of father are you? This is tantamount to child abuse." She said, "You sat there and watched that happen." I said, "It'll grow back." Guy said, "It'll grow back 6 months at least." He said, "It'll grow back in about 6 months."
We're saving money.
That's what I said. I said, we don't have to take him back for a haircut now for a while.
Yeah.
A little cleanup here and there. He'll be just fine. So that's what I'm living right now. The Hot 5 topics, we already covered the young lady who won the spelling bee. The Delta variant, we had that on Friday.
Of course.
Done and done.
Delta took care of that. Now, Richard Branson going into space over the weekend. We have that coming up on the spreadsheet. Boy, that was a pretty big deal, wasn't it?
I didn't.
Know he was going to do it?
Well, no, I knew he was doing it. I didn't know it was going to be the deal it was. I mean, people were losing their minds.
Crazy over it.
I just was kind of like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think it was that big of a deal, but I guess it opens up, within in a year they want to be taking space tourists, basically.
If you think about it, though, I mean, if you look at the history of aeronautics over the years, many, 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 many of the pioneers simply died, in these prototypes. The fact that this billionaire climbs on board the first one is kind of a big deal.
It was risky.
That's putting it out. That's really putting your trust in your machinery.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Now, it didn't go to like space. It went into the legal definition of space, which is 62 miles up.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I guess they did they float for a minute, I guess?
Yeah, they had a few moments of zero gravity.
Yeah, like he and Bezos were fighting to be the first.
Bezos doing it soon too. Isn't he?
Bezos is
Next week?
Yeah, I believe, but I think is his going a little further, maybe?
I believe so.
Like he's getting into space.
Oh, he
Well,
is.
slightly more.
Yeah, slightly more. But again, I guess that I just didn't think, but it was like the lead on all the news and everything, and I'm like, did I miss this? Did I just not care
It's
enough?
a big deal. I mean,
I mean,
think
it is. It's a remarkable aircraft.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it looks like. It's just like a space airplane.
Which one of these two guys have had trouble when they come back down? They have exploded a few times. Isn't that
That's
Elon Musk.
That's
yeah.
Musk that's doing that. All three of these really rich guys are trying to get
Yeah.
into space.
Apparently, Musk showed up in Richard Branson's kitchen at like 3 a.m.
Yeah,
Which
which is
in
the
a
VIP
block.
area for the launch.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Hey, Richard, good luck.
They're buds.
Just to
to say good luck.
Say hey.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah. Well, I saw this.
Have a good week.
When I saw it on the news, they were saying in the future this would be a great wedding present or graduation gift to send someone to space. I thought, well, how much money am I spending on a graduate? I mean, it's going to cost something to send somebody to space.
I think somebody on either that ship or Bezos's ship paid $28 million for the seat.
Yeah.
That's not a graduation.
I'm not giving a graduation present for $28 million. That's rich people. You know, that's Branson.
that's different level.
That's different level,
This
Rich.
would be a great graduation gift. Oh, really? For $28 million? Okay, yeah, that's it.
I remember
Maybe
my-
for Tom Hanks' kid.
You're right.
Or grandkid.
Exactly. That's what's going to
I
happen.
remember my
there.
grandparents gave me like $100, and I thought that was
That's
great.
a lot.
Yeah. I should graduate more.
Oh, yeah. You get a lot of money when you
Yeah.
graduate.
He only did once.
Yeah. Good to
That was
wait.
it. And I never got the college.
Just
grad.
the one
Yeah.
time.
Not even on time.
Just the one time. What about Black Widow at the box office? $80 million domestic box office, first weekend, biggest debut since the pandemic. Black Widow, new movie. Is that a Marvel?
It is.
Movie. Are you all interested in it?
I saw it.
Oh, you did? At the theater?
Nope. At home.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, let me ask you this. We'll get back to Biggie's home review,
Yes.
his Homebound movie review. This 80 million figure, Kelly, does that just box office receipts, or does it count people like Biggie who bought it at home?
I think it's box
That's
office.
just box office.
Okay.
And I thought it'll be a little weak
Oh, not that great.
for a Marvel movie.
What does this movie make 2 years ago if it comes out in theaters? This is 80 million here. Well, at that time, it's like, what, 200 million at the box office, wouldn't you say?
Well, this movie is not, I would call, it's a Marvel movie. It's not the big draw, though.
Okay.
I still think would make over 100.
Me too.
So, and especially since it's been this long, and this is one of those where you kind of have to go back. This story is set between this movie and this movie, and it has a little bit about what's going on now, but very little, and that's like an end credit scene.
And so you paid what to rent it where?
$30
You paid $30 to not go to the theater.
to watch it at home.
So you could have seen it at the theater for 10 or less.
Yeah,
And you paid 30. You didn't have anybody over to help pay
I
for
did.
it?
I
You
did. Yes. So there were two of us. So that's how I counted it as. This is us going to the movies at 15 apiece.
Did you
Is
charge
this your home health care aid?
You know, I still have friends, real friends, not you two, like people I want to be around.
What did you charge them? 15?
No.
So you paid.
She
Your
paid for
treat.
dinner. I paid for the movie.
All right. So $30
So
for the
we
movie.
evened it up like that.
And she pays for dinner. All right. Did you buy her breakfast?
I did not.
Oh, gracious alive.
Make it no. That's a good one. Solid joke.
Listen, let me tell you. You know,
And
Drew.
you two wonder why I don't call you friends.
Okay, you know, Drew, our engineer.
Sure.
He texted me a picture late on Friday. I say late, 9:15 on Friday night. I was asleep already. And the next morning I got up and looked at it, and there was a picture of a striking woman that he had met at a bar. And he said, "This is a fan of your morning show. She wanted me to, I used your name."
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
He said, "I used your name."
When the cops come knocking.
She said she's a big fan of your morning show. And so I wanted to prove I knew you, so I'm texting you her picture. Unfortunately, I was asleep. So the next day, I woke up, now early, and I write back later. I was like, did you buy her breakfast? and you know, he said the same thing you did. Good one. I'll file that one away. No, it turns out she was married and wasn't there for that. Wasn't there for that at all. But did say that she, and Drew said, I was hammered, so I apologize for drunk texting at 9:15.
You got a drunk text.
I got a drunk text of an attractive woman that he
Who's married.
Yeah, who is married.
Who he's trying to talk
Who he's
to.
trying to talk to, and he used our name, and he's like, I know those guys, and she said, "Oh, I'm such a fan," et cetera, et cetera.
Well, knowing what I know about your wife and the Apple products in your house, has that picture now gone into your permanent record?
Yes. Oh, yes. That we don't.
So that's in your file
Nothing
now.
is
Hot,
deleted.
married,
Oh, yeah.
slightly inebriated woman.
Correct. We don't delete photos now. We know. You know that.
Who was at a bar going, "You don't know him."
Right.
Yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do.
I'm going to call him right now.
I'm gonna show you. I got his number. I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna text him a picture of you.
He did. I didn't get it till the next day.
And that's how you're explaining the hot chick in your phone.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. If I had been awake,
It's from Drew, don't you see?
I was awake.
I wonder at what point it was revealed she was married too. I bet after that was taken. Well, okay, but my husband's never gonna believe this. Oh, husband. Never mind.
So
Can we at least make out in the bathroom?
No. Answer was as firm no.
I guess an old fashioned's out of the question.
Solid no. And
Hard pass.
He had a hard pass. He had no idea, but now I got her picture in my phone.
Uh-huh.
But he said she was real, real nice and let him down gently.
You still have the image?
Yeah, I have it.
See if Dave knows her.
Yeah, let's take a look at her here.
Probably Dave does know her. I mean, striking woman. And
right.
Drew was clearly interested, but was rebuffed shortly after the photo was taken.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm asleep at 9:15. If he'd got me at 8:30,
gone.
I might have had it for him. I might have been there. Now, okay, so you pay $30 to rent Black Widow on what?
Disney Plus.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I'll tell you this. I was a little surprised at the price.
30.
Because, the other movies have been 20, so I was expecting 20.
Uh-huh.
So I will say, when I logged on and it was like, rent me for $29.99, I did say, I was like, that's a lot. Like, I don't know if I'd do that again.
Mm. But you didn't want to look cheap in front of your date?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
A young lady friend over. $80 million at the box office, $60 million from rentals from Disney Plus.
Oh.
All right, I just read that. So
that's impressive.
So $140 million total, and part of it, almost half of it from Disney Plus.
So Biggie, as a renter on Disney Plus, you get it for how many hours? 72?
24, I think.
24.
That's it. Yeah. And it says, it's right there. It says this is Premier Access. And then it now tells you on Disney Plus too, which I thought was interesting. It says, you pay this price and you get it before everyone else gets it. But they tell you a date now, like October 6th. So everyone can watch Black Widow on October 6th.
On Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus.
And do you have to have Disney Plus
yes.
To even be able to rent it?
So really, if somebody, they may have made even more money. Maybe, let's say they made 10 million more in subscriptions for people who wanted to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I might do that again if it was a $20 something,
mm-hmm.
but
30's a little much.
30 to me that's extreme.
And the convenience of it, of course, is you're at home and your young lady friend can come over, and who knows where that leads, right?
Well, I'll tell you where it led, and I don't know if that's in the top 5, but it led to the McGregor fight.
Well, now that's not in top 5, but
we had a whole evening.
That's on the spreadsheet, though. Believe me,
she's a lucky lady. She brings you wings.
Yeah.
Watches you watch Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
And then Conor McGregor fall apart.
Yeah, Conor McGregor.
What an evening.
I feel bad for the guy.
The old romantic fool.
Oh,
Yes, yeah. Oh, you don't feel bad for him?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't like him?
No, I think he's good for the sport. I don't love him. Never been a giant fan of his.
If you don't know this, I've got it covered in sports.
We don't want to get too much into
I'll
it.
just say he broke his ankle.
Did he?
I mean, was it bad?
Oh, yeah.
Just flopping around. But it wasn't an impact thing.
No, it was one of those old...
he just landed wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There's back and forth. The guy he was fighting, his
Poirier.
name was... Dustin Poirier. He says he broke it when he kicked me because I heard like a... He claims he heard like a little crack or something. He said then it went another minute and then finally just gave out.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I heard some... Now, he and his doctor say, they'll mend it up, he'll be back. But,
yeah, he will.
Well, I heard some... this was aftermath, and just some pundits were saying, they say easy, but they were saying this is a tough injury to come back from. This is a bad break.
Yeah.
And a very difficult injury to come back from.
Well, and also, he doesn't... I'll say this, too. He was losing that fight.
Oh, he was?
This has given
him...
him...
first round.
Yeah, this has given him and the UFC a reason, basically, to say, hey, we can do this again. This was what they call a 3-fight trilogy. This was supposed to be number 3.
So they'll try to do it again.
So now they'll try to do it again and say, hey... And Connor's already saying, hey... don't even claim that victory.
This one doesn't count.
Yeah,
See,
and they said they were, and he was getting his ass kicked.
Well, since they're doing it again, I hope your lady friend is listening because she'll be back over for Poirier McGregor
right.
4 in a year.
Well, we were at the club watching this.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold it.
Wait a minute.
I thought you were at home
Yes,
watching the movie.
Black Widow. Yes,
And then out to the club.
yes,
What club?
the Treasure Club.
Oh, the Treasure Club.
You took your date to the gentleman's club?
She wanted to go.
She gets luckier and luckier. It keeps getting better for this young lady.
Yeah. What a evening.
Yeah.
Can I use your Uber? My account's deactivated. Jesus. What a sucker.
Boy, you really know how to show a lady.
Conor McGregor may have had a better night than she did.